Mic check. We're good. All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another Theater Thursday here at Giga Gaming Academy. We're going to be reacting to this video that had such a good introduction that I just think everyone should see it for the fact of like how good that intro is, how sunk in it is. Plus, the content's pretty cool. So we're going to take a peek at this. You will never look at the NFL draft the same. Talking about the value of picks. So we're going to go into this, then we're going to get into some League of Legends. We've got the LEC season upper finals. We've got G2 versus Mad Lions. So let's check it out. Wrong one.
So every year, roughly 250 players are selected to play in the National Football League.
National Football League selection meeting.
23 NFL Draft.
Teams are slotted in this NFL draft based on how they finished the previous year. Any fan is aware of this. But after going through a considerable amount of data, I am convinced that seemingly every fan,
Let's go, Bird.
apparently every GM and just about every owner,
It's D-Day for the deal makers as they look to rein in football's best playmakers.
is completely unaware of the true value of these picks. This
Isn't that so sick? I mean, that the way that that's delivered, almost like a Mr. Anderson. Don't know the truth. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just super hyped for this. That's how far I got in before I was like, I need to do a whole reaction on this video. It's good. I mean, I can anticipate, if I'm going to guess at what some of the points are going to be, they're going to look at how often drafted players make it into your culture of winning franchises. And largely whether or not the culture of a winning franchise dictates more or less how good the draft pick is going to be. For example, the Arizona Cardinals just can't put it together, not ever. So there's something that they're doing wrong. And for example, they seem to already be doing that again, shipping off all the talent, cutting Colt McCoy, going with essentially backups at 8 different positions, barely getting any value for someone like Isaiah Simmons, who they're just, I don't know, it just feels like they're trying to rebuild, and it looks like they're trying to suck to get Caleb Williams. But then you're going to have a bad team around Caleb Williams, and how is he ever supposed to succeed? What I anticipate would be better for them is to ship away that pick, keep Kyler Murray, play with a talented quarterback that you know can ball out, and just get a bevy of picks. And you've got him on lock till 2027, and you can say, like, I want talent in the draft. When you're getting talent in the draft, especially in the line positions, then it can start creating this pressure where you can move the line of scrimmage and just create this culture of dominance. But largely, like, if your team has a bad culture, then it's not going to matter how good your draft picks are, because your draft picks are going to feel like they're bad. But we'll see. We'll see what this guy has to say.
This is a story about billionaires making billion-dollar blunders, even with million-dollar staffs and analysts. This is a story about the NFL draft and how even the wealthiest elites can't overcome simple human behavior. Now, in any sports draft, there is a clear advantage to picking earlier. Obviously, it's better to have the first pick than the 20th pick. But the question is, how much of an advantage is there? And does this advantage line up with what teams actually follow, how they actually trade or value their picks?
For reference, there is a trade chart that gives an approximate value, and they use that basically around the entire NFL. They use that as their model for how to compensate for a pick, and then you can like edge it up or down if you have generational type talents. But when you're talking about drafting picks for the future and what they're going to be worth, they basically all follow that table.
Are there any rounds or picks that seem to be overvalued? Now, fortunately, all this data is public. We obviously watch the NFL. We know what players get paid and certainly how they perform. It's a spectator sport. So we can analyze the perceived market value of each pick and how that lines up with compensation and performance. It's not going to be too difficult, but it will require a little digging. For example, how the first pick of the first...
That little chart, I think it's worth freeze framing. I don't think this is suggesting... Hold on, let's see. This is first round performance goes down. How much you have to compensate in millions of dollars. So you end up having to compensate later round picks, probably because you have more. This is where you're getting more compensatory picks. It'll be interesting to see where this goes.
Not going to be too difficult, but it will require a little digging. For example, how the first pick of the first round, number 1, is compared to the first pick of the second round, the 33rd overall pick. To do this, again, we have to examine how players actually performed and how they were paid. The earlier the pick, the higher the compensation. And in a league with a salary cap, compensation is an obvious variable worth considering here. So it's kind of similar to running a business. Is the salesperson that you're paying $200,000 producing more than, well, 2 could at, let's say, $100,000?
Right. This is going to be a very valuable thing. And really, you're always going to have to compare 2 to 2 because you need to see what is your drop off from a different position, for example. And you want to have stars, but how much are the stars worth and how much are they being paid? The Rams recently just basically mortgaged their entire draft capital to try to acquire talent, and they got a Super Bowl with it. So was that worth it? Is it worth being in the position that they're in now, where the hopes aren't very high going into this season? That's going to be the trade-off. And then whether or not you can create acceptable funnels of talent that come up. And you tend to see that teams that have really good cultures tend to just fill in the blanks very easily. So like the Steelers and the Ravens, for example, just always next man up, and they just always seem to have guys. That's why they have good preseason rankings too. Like they just perform well. Their whole team is good, rather than paying a glut at one position.
Of pay each. So we're going to rely on Dr. Thaler's data here. He's worked with a number of NFL teams. He's kind enough to share this data with the world. Data that is shocking. Let's start first with the market premium for draft picks. Since teams regularly trade draft picks, even as late as the day of the draft, we can see what the league thinks the market value is for picks based on historical data, illustrated in this graph. And what we find is the first pick of the draft is worth about 5 times as much as the first pick of the second round, the 33rd overall pick in this case, based on historical behavior. So I want to pause.
I'm going to guess for a moment that if you just shipped that 1 off for 5 2s, I'm guessing you're going to have a net better presence of talent over time.
Real quick, because that is insane. What that means is the first overall pick could be traded in a series of trades for 5 second-round picks. So, again, that is a steep graph. And what's even more odd here is just how orderly the data is. It is rare that you find data that follows the line this closely. So, what the heck is going on here? How are these teams evaluating these trades? How are they making these decisions? Well, it happens to deal with a chart that was created by then Cowboys minority shareholder Mike McCoy when he was helping out Jimmy Johnson. But here's the thing. This was never supposed to be gospel. McCoy was just trying to show Jimmy how teams had done deals in the past. He wasn't trying to give advice. It was merely a historical representation of how teams have evaluated trades. But if teams are still following this chart basically today, well, then it must be accurate. I mean, think of how much scouting has improved. Think of how much analytics have improved. These are billion-dollar organizations. It wouldn't be.
Well, it's also worth noting that if people are going to continue that pattern, then it's exploitable, right? You can find where you have better information than everybody else, and if they're following that curve, then you can find the windows. For example, selling a 1 for 5 2s. In my opinion, just at surface glance, it seems like it would be great, especially if you're looking to fill your talent, your room of like wide receivers, running backs, tight ends type. You aren't going to get your singular elite generational type offensive tackle or running back, for example, but and especially not quarterback, but you should have a bevy of picks with which you should be able to find a couple of marquee players.
Following a chart like this, unless it makes sense, right? To test this, we need to again look at compensation and performance of the players. So this first step is actually quite easy because there's a salary cap in the NFL, unlike, let's say, the MLB or the LIV, where you got folks like Dustin Johnson flying around in a PJ just to play golf, not even to win golf. be a little bit harder if there was Saudi money here where there's no profit, but each team has to live within their own budget in the NFL. So let's look at this. Graphically, we are met with a similar steep curve. Higher picks are getting paid a lot more than later picks. And this is critically important because, well, money is finite. Each team only has so much money within their own salary cap. And really the only way a team can win in the NFL is if its aggregate players outperform what they're getting paid. So high picks are expensive in two ways. First, they're expensive because the potentiality of the trade. They could be traded for a number of different picks. And second, well, they just get paid a lot more. But that expense could be worth it if the player performs. Peyton Manning, for example, was picked just one pick higher than the next quarterback. Person at the same position, Ryan Leaf. And, well, Peyton won a Super Bowl, won a lot of playoff games, obviously brought in a lot of money to the Colts. Ryan Leaf did not. So it appears the crux of this is how good are teams at picking players? Well, we know that teams aren't perfect at picking players because obviously there are sleepers in every round, players that dramatically outperform their draft position, players like Tom Brady, that was taken 6th. In the 6th round, that is. Tom Brady, the quarterback. He certainly ended up being worth more than a traditional 6th rounder.
You could say that.
How good are teams at picking players? Suppose you were to rank all players at every position, not just before the draft, thanks Mel Kiper, but also after they've played in the NFL. What's the percentage chance that a player will be better than the next player taken at his position? So, for example, let's say you have a wide receiver that's taken number 33 overall. What's the chance that he is better than the next wide receiver taken at maybe, for example, number 57 overall? It's about 52%.
That's tiny.
I didn't have a coin, but it's a coin flip. So let's think of this recent Bryce Young trade that the Panthers made. The full package of assets sent to Chicago reads.
Here we go. 1, 1, 2, 2, and DJ Moore. Although you could argue that DJ Moore is kind of like a throw-in because the Panthers need to get rid of dead money while they're rebuilding. But yeah, this is the sort of glut you can expect, right? A 1, 1, 2, 2. Fairly early in the 1, definitely really late in the 2. There's a big difference here.
It's more like a shopping list.
Yo, what's up, Ben?
All just to move up 8 positions and draft Bryce Young. So the Panthers must be sure that he's the guy. Bryce is the guy. Now, it is entirely possible.
Now they're going to go historically, like how many players have ever like completely outperformed what they've gotten at. And this is something that Bill Belichick's been good at. Bill Belichick trades back more than any other coach or any other GM in the league, in the history of the league. Just always trading back, always trading back. Now, it can be said that we aren't very good at drafting. The Patriots tend to not get many guys from the draft, but they actually are one of the best at getting undrafted free agents that contribute. And you've got, Tom Brady, so how can you say that they're not good drafters?
It's possible that Bryce Young has an amazing rookie season. He has an amazing career. We're talking about how freaking stupid this video is for saying the Panthers gave up too much to go get him. But I was just personally curious, teams in the past, how has this fared for them when they've traded to go get their guy? So I looked.
RG3 ends up getting injured in his second season. The Rams end up winning the Super Bowl with all the picks they've got. That's probably the most notable big trade that happened recently. I'm kind of trying to think about all the other ones moving up.
Looked into this 10 times. That's 10. Putting 10 fingers up here. 10 times teams have traded up into the top 5 to go get their guy, to go get their quarterback. And only twice has this maybe made sense. And I emphasize maybe because one of them was Michael Vick. Many remember what happened. He had an unbelievable career for a little bit there with the Falcons, got cut short with that incident. Few remember what they gave up. They didn't give up nothing to go get this guy. They gave up LaDainian Tomlinson, future Hall of Fame running back, to go get Mike Vick, as well as some other players. So it wasn't like they just got him for free. The other time that it was a maybe, well, that was Jared Goff. And
yeah, this one's a tough one. Although Goff is actually showing that he can ball out right now. And like the pictures coming out of camp at Lions camp, he's throwing pristine balls to targets. The guy can make any throw in the league. So, I mean, we'll still see. But this kind of illustrates that whole idea of culture and fits and what's going to happen. Yes, McVay can get there. And the question was whether or not Goff was holding them back. Did he just need something else? He was in a different mindset than the head coach. Maybe they could have won that Super Bowl with Goff and not with Stafford. Everyone's like, oh, great job trading for Stafford and getting rid of Goff to get the Super Bowl. But maybe the team was just that good anyways.
They gave up a little bit for him too. Jack Conklin, All-Pro.
All-Pro.
Derrick Henry,
All-Pro.
decent running back.
He's the best running back in football.
Some other pretty decent players too. Corey Davis, other starters as well. So it's not like they didn't give up anything for Jared Goff. That's the only time that I would say it's maybe arguable because, well, these other players, they're not great. There was Mitch Trubisky trade.
4 picks for the Bears to move up one
Oh,
spot.
no.
Highway robbery.
Sam Darnold, Trey Lance, RG3. Mark Sanchez.
Smashed
The Trey Lance one was awful.
into the offensive lineman's butt.
Jeff George, Ryan Lee. Talk to me, all right? And Carson Wentz. So
Carson Wentz was great. RG3 was also great, but he got hurt. But that's also the question, right? When you're putting that much stake into one guy, is that one guy going to survive? Like what, if you treat everything like an optimal game theory, like a poker move, what is the probability that this bet works? And you're making one bet, right? And how much you actually have to get these guys, and then they might not even stay with you, right? You hope that you draft them, you bring them up, you play with them, they go. But then you need to give them an exorbitant amount of money, which then chews into that curve that we saw at the beginning and how much they're actually going to be worth. And you have to, that's still a guess. They might not do it. Like Lamar Jackson threatened to leave the Ravens, for example. You don't know that these guys are going to stick around or not get hurt.
wasn't great. I guess we'll find out with the Panthers.
Now, I want to be clear here that miscalculated.
It's also worth noting that these guys that are trading up to these picks, usually they think that they're one player away in the fairly short term, but quarterbacks especially are just never ready in year one. They're just not. There's no quarterback that has come out year one and be like, boom, setting everything on fire. I'm perfect. Everything's great. RG3 was probably the closest, and he was constantly risking injury to do it. And so they ended up paying the price. Now, I think that was a coach's mistake. I think it was very obvious that RG3 had gotten hurt, and then they put him back in. He ends up fumbling the game away because he tears his knee. He had partially torn it on one play, came back in, completely tore it the next.
Trades don't just involve these guys, quarterbacks. So here's some historically bad trades, just for fun. Perhaps my favorite.
They can do everything for Ricky Williams? No. There's one year that the Saints gave away their entire draft for one player, but Ricky Williams, if it weren't for the pot, might have been a great player.
Mike Ditka Ricky Williams trade, where he followed a negotiation tactic I probably don't recommend anyone. He let the city know that Ricky was the savior, and then proceeded to give up basically the entire Saints' future, their entire draft class, plus 2 picks for the next year, 8 picks. These are just recent examples here. There's also the Herschel Walker trade, where they literally traded an entire football team, 6 draft picks and 5 players to go get
an entire team.
Wow, it's
Yeah.
Herschel Walker.
Cowboys turned that into 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah. Teams just do not follow rational behavior while performing.
Now, part of this is also a business choice, and you could argue that long-term success is a better business choice in general, right? You have a strong franchise that generates profit over 10, 15 years versus the immediate ticket sales, the immediate merchandise sales of having one superstar. Because when you have that one superstar, you can market that. Part of that's going to go into the business. That's what allows you to afford everything else, and it allows maybe your venue to be better. You can have better locker rooms, better coaches. You can afford more things, and that makes you a more attractive destination for free agents. So there's like a push and a pull. I want to say, up front that there is compensation for getting one superstar.
Performance of early picks is certainly better, meaning early picks do perform better. Compensation is also higher. And this surplus value, the key ingredient for team success, players performing better than they are paid, well, that doesn't come close to matching up with the initial graph we examined of the market value of picks. So if the market value for trade picks was efficient, these two graphs would be identical. But we can see here that with all key factors examined, we have a much flatter curve, meaning late round picks aren't as worthless as GMs might trade them to be. Also, take a look at how this curve slopes up to begin with. This means that with compensation and performance taken into account, the early picks are actually worth historically less than the late first round picks because, well,
Makes sense.
getting significant.
Well, this is also going to come, and this is without all the trades. The players getting drafted early tend to go to bad teams, and so their performance can't shine in the light that they need.
Larger rookie contracts. And again, with a salary cap in place, money is finite. For the teams in the NFL, you have to consider performance and compensation. So why do they do this? The answer is not as straightforward as you might think.
Now, I also want to talk about, you have a whole roster, right? So making a roster out of 53, we'll call it tier 2 guys. Let's say you just always trade away your superstars and you have tier 2 everywhere. I don't know that we have a roster like that has ever succeeded. The Patriots come close, but they had that one key. They had Tom Brady being consistent and Bill Belichick. But like the defense has always been great, and there's never elite talent there. They draft it, they coach it, they make it work, and that defense is good with a bevy of picks, right? And that's what happens when Bill Belichick constantly trades back. He just gets more and more and more talent. He gets a better, more competitive locker room and training camp, which is actually worth noting, right? When you trade back, you create more people on an even footing. When you trade up, that guy walks into the locker room knowing that you traded up to get him, and everyone knows that you traded up to get him, so they know you want that guy, as opposed to the guy that fell into your lap. You're like, yeah, I traded back. I was comfortable. There's a lot of guys. I like this guy. I'll come back. It's no big deal, and get this guy. Every time that you move up, you're putting more pressure on that guy. I think that's why kickers and punters, who I think all of the examples I've ever thought of that people traded up for have all failed. I'm trying to think of an example that wasn't. Normally they're not drafting kickers or punters, but when you're like, you're that guy, we definitely want you. We want to trade assets to go get you. It just doesn't seem like it makes sense.
It's not just emotion. The answer is actually a little bit deeper in the complexity. And what we find is a substructure that I find truly fascinating, one that you can find in business, in organizations, and in many political systems. Let me illustrate this causality by example. Let's imagine that a newly elected politician has two options. Number one, raise taxes and decrease the payout for Social Security to help balance the budget. Number two, do nothing and continue to pay out Social Security even though the Social Security fund is running out of money within the next 10 years. Which of these two options do you think our newly elected politicians?
Right. Yeah, like this is exactly the thing. The idea of investing, giving up for future capital means you might lose your job, right? You might be doing the more prudent thing, but your job becomes at risk. Whereas taking the shiny guy gets you paid right away. It gives you more money right away. And then, hey, like that's money, that's possibilities.
Politician will choose.
This is a great example.
Yeah, it seems crazy to even debate this or question it. Obviously, option A is more rational, at least seems far more rational, but option B is far more likely because the incentives are wrong. Much of what this newly elected politician probably cares about is getting reelected, not necessarily what things will look like 10 years from now. And very similarly in the NFL, general managers get paid now. They get paid for having a job now in the present. So the priority is to keep a job. It's not necessarily what do things look like 5 to 10 years from now. It's, hey, I want to make sure that we win now, so I still have a job now. The incentives, again, are somewhat misaligned, and this creates a massive present bias where general managers are willing to sacrifice sizable future rewards from.
This is why contracts like the one John Gruden got, I think, are super important. You need to find guys that you know are hungry and give them a 10-year contract and say, yeah, I'm locking you up You get to run the show, you get to sculpt this, and you get to spend some time building it into whatever you need, and then you can ramp up from there, because otherwise you're going to end up with this thing like a new GM in Carolina, right? New entire staff. It's like, let's make a splash. All right, we want everyone to be able to talk about Bryce Young. We want to be able to hang our hats. Well, now you've just given away 5 talented guys, right? No question about it. This is 5 talented players. DJ Moore was a first-round pick. You've got 1-1, 2-2 for 1 pick. There's no way. And the team around him, by kind of all standards, isn't very good right now. They weren't very good last year. You just denied yourself at one of your best players. Some would argue your best player after they got rid of Christian McCaffrey. What are you getting back?
Much smaller present rewards, and it's not necessarily bad to have a present bias. Obviously, really all we have guaranteed is the moment that we're in right now in a lot of ways. But the question is, again, at what cost are we making these trades? If we look at Mike Ditka, he wasn't as concerned, obviously, with what was happening to the Saints 5-10 years from now when he was giving away 5 future rounders for Ricky Williams. He wanted to win now, and he was willing to sacrifice just about everything from a future first-round standpoint to do so. And one other factor here, if we look at the NFL owners, time is finite, and they're not necessarily getting any younger. So rebuilding for 3 to 5 years might be more of an estate plan than a game plan. And furthermore, there's a risk to unconventional thinking. Even when you're right, let's say that you maybe trade all your present picks for future.
Right. Like this right here. Like this is such a good example. What if you could trade a 1 for all next year? Literally double your picks, right? You'd say this is obviously amazing. But what are you getting now? And people are going to start crucifying you. Like, you're thrown away this year. You can't compete. You think that the team's no good. Or it could actually mean that you think the team's great, but people could construe it and run away with that narrative.
Future picks. Load up on future picks. Well, guess what? You might not be around to enjoy that. So even if you're doing probabilistically what makes total sense,
As a GM, you get one shot.
you might not have a job and be able to enjoy the benefits of that. So again, the incentives are wrong.
It's just one opportunity for
Teams are not only overestimating early first-round picks, but they're also overestimating present picks significantly more than future picks.
Well, that's really the same thing, because you're looking at the high pick and you're like, this is the best pick right now, so I want to get the best singular talent right now, as opposed to the most developmental things. But it makes sense.
There should be some present bias, but it is significant. To get any team to win requires a commitment to a long-term strategy. So in a way, that makes the NFL no different than anything else in life. There are no shortcuts. You need everybody in the team to buy in, starting with the owner. Otherwise, the GM and coaches will just get fired for unconventional thinking, so they're just going to keep following the conventional wisdom, even if that is completely wrong. Now, a few NBA teams seem to
Oh man, some of those picks. The Seahawks, they've had the worst trade in NFL history, where they traded away their all-pro center, which was the core of their offensive line, which allowed Russell Wilson to be great at scrambling, to acquire an enormous contract in the form of Jimmy Graham, who's basically just a wide receiver. They call him a tight end, but with Drew Brees, it basically was just a wide receiver. That guy's not blocking. And so you screw your entire team, giving away picks, assets to get one talented guy, because you think oh, this is the piece and this is flashy and we're going to have this number 3 to number 80 is just going to be huge. That team lost its core identity of being able to hold the line and then scramble Russell Wilson, and they went into this glut for the next 4 years. And then now they're actually coming back and fixing it by trading away Russell Wilson to get multiple draft picks, and they're rebuilding the franchise. And now people are talking about the defense, that we might have the second coming of the Legion of Boom. Some people are calling it the Legion of Doom this time. It's just getting this bevy of picks and talent is so important, and to be able to build.
Have figured this out, at least tried to. The Sixers followed the trust the process, where they tanked historically bad and got guys like Joel Embiid, became a contender. Some might argue they never won one, but they at least became a contender out of that. We also have the Oklahoma City Thunder doing this, the Utah Jazz, and there's a present-day bias that exists in the NBA. Even if it's different than the NFL, there is still a present bias, and a few teams are willing to try that. Time will tell with the NFL.
Yeah, but that's different. That's tanking on purpose, right? These teams actually were losing on purpose, as opposed to just creating assets every time that you can, right? If you think of every trade and every opportunity as a turn in a turn-based game, did I win my turn? Every single turn. If you just try to win all your turns, then you will generate extreme value over time. Even if it means I'm giving up my 1 right now. If I'm getting 2 1s later, or a 1 and a 2, you can say I've won this turn. And yes, right now at that moment, it means that you're pegged down a little bit. So you just start your ramp. But the more times you do this, the steeper and steeper your climbing ramp becomes. And even though you're further down, you will almost immediately or within 2 years climb past it. And if you keep on doing that, let's say every single year you trade your 1 for a 1 and a 2, all right? Of next year, you're trading the free 1 for next year's 1 and 2. So now, year 2, you actually just have your normal draft. Year 3, you've got a bonus 1, and you do it again. And you still have 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. And each time it's just accumulate. The whole time you're getting 2 second-round picks by trading away the 1 extra pick. So in year 1, you dropped yourself down like this. And for every year therefore after, you are acquiring an extra. So year 1, you have -1. Year 2, you have the same. Year 3, you've got an extra. Year 4, you've got 2 extras, right? Imagine that just building over time and how good of a roster you could make in 6 years, right? And then at that point, you're like, sweet, look at how good all these guys are. And to think that if you ever acquire an elite pick, you could trade that for like 5 2s or like 3 2s and 2 3s and 2 4s, something like that. You can create a massive amount of wealth of talent.
And one final personal note on this. Our relationship with time has always been profoundly interesting to me. You don't get to choose whether or not you're sacrificial, but you do get to choose what sacrifices you make. You bet the farm on one player today, that likely won't work out for you. That likely isn't a shortcut. You sacrifice for the future, and the future might be a little bit brighter. Hope you found this video helpful. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care.
I enjoyed it immensely. It's fantastic. All right, let's get some games in. How you doing, Ben? What's up, man? I don't think we're going to have enough time to watch the G2 series. I think it's 4 or 5 games. So it's probably a little bit too much. Maybe we'll try to get that in later. Let's get a little tryharding. It's theater day. If anyone wants to join, by the way, I'm in the Discord. If you guys want to hop in, feel free to jump into the Discord streaming channel. We'll play on. So this was absolutely fantastic. Let me give this guy some love. hold on a sec. If we gave away our 1, get a 1 and a 3. Next year we use that 1 to get a 1 and a 3. Yeah, so we're basically trading the 1 year to get 3s for eternity. All right, Ivern. Oh, it's a support? Oh, okay. Well, Jin is classically very good with this. Ashe would be fine. I think Tristana's just in a really good spot. Kai'Sa's Kai'Sa. I'll just go Kai'Sa. I'll put that in. Jalen Carter is a favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. I believe it. All right, let's see. Oh boy, everything is super aggressive here. Lethal tempo is almost definitely not happening. We're probably gonna have to go here or here. Just totally fine. We want to get our attacks off when we get a chance. And we'll do this for the lane phase. All AD. Not quite worth going, but we are gonna go Zhonya's. Nope, nothing this game. See, the Sam Howell first game was great. So Ron Rivera, for a little context, basically just revealed that he didn't know how good this guy was. Last year in week 18, their backup quarterback, they were going to put him in. And he said, the backup, who you rarely get chances to play, and this is a guy that has publicly said, like, you don't know how many chances you're going to get. When there's someone like Carson Wentz on your team, you just get ready for the time. He has said that he's hungry, and he's staying hungry for that moment. And yet, in week 18, when they were about to put him in because Carson Wentz was out, he's like, no, like, guys, you got to check this dude out. The practice squad quarterback, Taylor Heineke, coming out and saying that when he's getting his chance, finally, after desperately wanting and waiting for it, passes it to some other dude. Is like, no, like, this guy's that guy. And then after the game, the coach is like, well, I didn't know he was that good. Like, some failures across the board. Washington obviously super distracted with the whole ownership situation. But, yeah. All right, hold on just a moment. So it's going to be interesting to see. Now, they have fantastic skill position players. They've got 2 athletic running backs. They've got 2 elite wide receivers in Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin, plus some good role players around them. They could have a fantastic team. I'll go on the record as saying this team could be great. If Sam Howell is actually that guy, they could easily be this good. Oh, love to see it. First pick lock, Katarina. AKA is bad. All right, we have versus Karma. So we're probably playing defense here. We're playing for late game. We've got Belveth. We have to deal with some pushing. Might want to get some form of engage. Fresh is just, you know, kind of ubiquitously great. Also can get us away from these situations right now. Would get bullied a little bit. Zyro would be able to fight back. Oh, this is a classic pairing. Kind of want to go with Rakan. Hold people in place. Kallistrakan, always good. I don't think I like any of these. I think I want Aftershock. Demolish, no way. Shield Bash gives you extra stats just as a baseline. Bone Plating good for trades. We have Belveth who's trying to get on top of you. Echo's trying to chunk fast, both of which, well, Echo can be a little bit softer waiting for Bone Plating, but not that bad. Revitalize, the heal and shield would hit us. I could go unflinching as well. We've got root, stun. Extra health would be fine. We could go here. Movement speed is totally legit as well. I don't know if I got that in time. We shall see. Rakan got recently unseated as my fastest guy to rank 7, by the way. Kassadin, I got there on 28, which kind of makes sense because I only ever picked Kassadin when it was a full easy on counter pick. So that explains why I think I got there five S's and 6 tries. We're playing defensively against these guys. Oh, they changed the mechanics of this. I'm paired, right? I haven't seen this. I haven't seen Callista. I haven't played with Callista in a long ass time, but we definitely are brutally strong here. Kind of a wasted ward.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Oh yeah, whoops.
Minions have spawned.
I don't think they have a... Oh, they do have a ward? They just placed it. I wasn't even doing it while I was typing. I don't even know that this is worth it. It's a little bit of extra experience. Since I got it solo, I think I get it now on the 8th minion. They did a little bit of a retool on this, and I'm not sure if that's still going to be the case. So I'm just going to use up my shield right here. Okay, this guy's going to start attacking, so that's fine. If he wants to attack, that's okay too. This should be a win for us. Here we go, we got bone plating, no big deal. I could have pulled out though. I am a melee now. I can get these executes. $223. You know what? I might just get a free roam timer right here. Because this guy thinks that he has it warded, but he hasn't gone deep enough. Do we hold this? was actually trying to cast E. That's on me. That's on me. Oh, why would you die? There's zero reason for that guy to be taking any damage. This wave is coming back to him. He would have been able to get all the hits on his own. Fudge! Why are you not paying attention? Karma just recalled. Alright, Jin just screwed himself by not recalling with the lady though. Didn't mean to get that. Come to me, Kha'Zix. Alright, Jin's still here on Just Dorn's Blade. Why is this guy even taking damage? See, this right here is where he should be pulling the wave. There we go. Dominating. No. I'm holding, we're good. She can go, she can go. Stronger than you realize, young buck. Should be enough for a kill there. I screwed that up. Alright, what do I want? I need to be able to go through this. I don't want to get stunned by Renekton. That's the only point click. Uh-oh. Alright, just trading their life for that. That's okay. Alright, what do I want? I want maximum engage. I want cooldowns. Like this. We'll get Shurelya's. This is what Callisto should be dreaming of right now. Alright, we're gonna get this quickly. I think that guy could have kept on moving. This is not a fight he wins. I don't know, I probably screwed that up. No. She's so big. We need Kha'Zix to up the tempo a little bit. We're missing out on a plate here, hopefully. It's going to be really close. Gonna share this with the cat. She gets a fast push, so we get a roam together. Come to me, though. Come, come, come. Like, what are you sitting there for? You're literally doing nothing. This guy's dead to an all-in. Could have done so much more. Thank you. Kind of stressful though. Uh-oh. Easy. Cat's so big this game. Now, is there anything we can get here? Maybe stopping him back. This guy's overstaying for this next plate, probably because he thinks that there's no Mordekaiser to be had. But if I can get a ward for the Mord, right about time for his teleport. Gonna hold this wave for him. Now we pull the wave, and we're good. Now we're going to hold Mordekaiser's spot for him. Callista's okay here. Where do we want this ward? Cat's looking at something. Calista has to back off. I think I should be able to hover this guy.
Turret plating will fall soon.
I can't believe I missed that first portion. so bad.
Rampage.
See you. Alright, the ultimate is up this time. We are not going to let Belveth get this for free. What happened there? Oh, he left and I couldn't target him. Go, 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 go. We're so late. Oh, why would you... Why would you E backwards? Okay, so that was a missed opportunity. You go here, you pull him back in, you get that kill for yourself. This should still turn into a kill for a Kha'Zix. You have to be careful though, cooldowns are coming up. There you go. This is a win for Calista all day long. Oh, that last step should not have been backwards. Could have been forward, would have been fine. I mean, I want to cover this Rift Herald more than anything. Katarina's in the wrong spot. You did not need to ult me there. Kind of ult. We're giving up Rift Herald to Belveth. It's usually a punt. Fudge. So bad. Alright, we'll find a way. We'll find a way. Ah! Come on. Gave that guy the green light too. 3 people showing on bot. That was 100% an in for us. All right, Belveth's over pushing. That'll have to be our compensation. Might go Zeke's this game actually. The extra armor would be pretty nice. Just fight them, we are so strong. There you go. Win, win, win. It's a tough one. Callista, you're huge. There you go, that's a win. That guy flashed. Got nothing left though. All right, top wave is fixed. That's already going to be pushing out. I'm actually going to usher it just a little bit more by getting some of the backliners dead. Don't want more to go any further than this. Just going to go like that. Knock these up. That's all it takes, guys. That little push. Oh, I did not mean to hit you, Baron. I'll apologize, Mr. Byrne. Mord, what are you doing here? Edge. You don't got it. Trying to peel. That re-engaging into time with Kha'Zix going back, and Kha'Zix is not showing to be someone who's looking for that kind of play. Alright, we have one surviving Baron though. We can make something with that. Let's see, we've got 5-second timer here. Kha'Zix should be recalling to make sure that they don't take our base. Looks like they're going to back off anyways because it's Katarina and she's huge. Oh, this is a free kill. You guys way too far. Oh, why would you go there? No. Did she run out of gas? Oh, no. Oh, we got this. He wasn't looking. Couldn't get anything off. I don't know what she's afraid of. I need to play better. That was actually kind of neat trick, something you can do to get an echo who jumps. It's always going to connect to you once they target you, so you can jump backwards and get them to go further. Kha'Zix is now looking, my friend. Get in the fight. This guy's up. Alright, so I need to adjust. This guy's not willing to do anything that Rakan is doing. So we have to adjust and not try to lead the Kha'Zix. We just have to follow their plays. Looks like an assassin player. Knows when they're capable of getting the kill. And only looking for that, not looking to try to get anything else. So we'll just try to shield them for that situation. Go, go, go. Oh, why are you being safe again? Ugh, similarly. Very linear. Linear thinkers can do better than this. Not like that. They're just, all they see is what's directly in front of them, you know? Alright, so I'm not trying to stop this. I'm just going to try to get eyes on them when they do it. It's the easiest kill for you.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Multiple people spotted there. Karma in the river. There's like basically nothing that could go poorly for the Katarina there. So defensive. Again, just like literally what's just in front of them. Alright, everybody wants to play super defensively, we can do it. I'll try to get transition wards.
Enemy rampage.
Again. Baron's 48 seconds and I have no wards for this. We have to hard engage this. We have to take one of them. They're splitting us apart. We just have to go. And they're not pursuing. Guy has no spells left. Ugh. I canceled my own redemption there. Well, actually, this guy canceled the redemption. I wanted to cast it. I don't know if I could still do it, but being in the sheath. I don't know. Bottom. Bottom. tough team comp. Could have gone for Zeke's Convergence or even like Zonya's. Zonya's is totally fine on Rakan as well. I don't know, what else could we have done here? Could have gone Font of Life up front, but nothing's going to change the fact that like we weren't moving forward together, right? It was all just always back, retreat, retreat. My life is the only one that matters, and we have a pretty squishy comp. Not something that we can really get done with that. Kalista has to play super aggressively. You've got so many tools and so much damage that she can play up and then just skirt around the fights trying to kite laterally. And if we're kiting laterally and staying on the edge of the fight, then we make room for Katarina and Kha'Zix. I didn't get that like big wombo. Probably could have been more patient setting it up for them, especially once they show that they don't really want to be the one that extends into it. If they don't see it, they don't do it, right? And so that was the same kind of types of deaths that Kha'Zix had in the jungle. It's like, I don't see it, I don't think about it. And so they're not looking ahead. So for these people, if that's your issue, always think about, especially when you're in dead time, what's going on. Now, I have a feeling, because we had to mute pings on this guy, that it means that they're probably typing, they're putting all those red button responses out, and it makes you play worse, right? And they don't realize it. So we got to retrain that red button response with blue buttons. Try to soothe yourself, see what it is, not for what you want it to be or what it should be or could be, but just what it is. How is it? You're upset, you're playing bad, that's okay. You don't trust the Rakan even, could be that. Just try to see what you can do in the ebb of what's happening in the game. This was always going to be tough. Mordekaiser can take over this matchup. Yeah, we just needed to take more advantage of the fights that we did have. This is all offensive. This is something you kind of rarely see. You normally see a first item defensive option here, and you don't need to go necessarily on hit for double on hits. The Rageblade already does enough of that. It's fine. Blade of the Rune King's fine, but you'll normally see something like a lifeline item here, right? Immortal Shield Bow. Sometimes even rushed, so you can just take those fights and know like, yep, I'm good. Get that extra life. You can push the boundaries only once the shield is gone. Do you try to go through? But it would have been nice to be on the same page with Kalista about like what kind of engages we were trying to look for. All right, fantastic run here. Faked the slide. Good delivery, nice quick find. Both other guys had defenders on their backs. All right, so when you're looking out here, you're reading this linebacker where they're going to drop off into. Looks like they're setting up hat on a hat, so it looks like man. But the way when you see this guy slide over, if he's becoming a spy, or if he's a guy that's marking this 8, right? You can see whether or not you're going to be in man or zone. Try to go another step. All right, yeah, it really looks like he's going off into zone, right? These guys are picking up spots. No, not so much. Man, this must be a track right here. Spy over the middle, maybe with an edge to like cover the dump off. On a 2nd and 4, that might be a little bit weird. These crossers, if it's man, you're going to have someone shake loose. They're probably going to be paired with some kind of deep in and out right there. Yeah, so the crossers are always going to separate, right? There's so much mess being made there in the middle that those crossers are always going to get room. So really good decision. Quick, got it out in front of his numbers. That's really good. All right, looks like we have zone. Everyone's shifting over, sliding over to the right. So you're going to look for a pocket like right over here. Oh, good job finding the guy sitting down. But you see this was probably open on the sideline as well. Exhaust. Well, you know what? Let's try it. We'll go with data driven. Ghost can be exceptionally strong here. Some people go cheap shot. The extra AP is fine here. These ones are all fine. You're just going to be rushing into Leandries and types. Going to try to shore up some matchups for our guys. Lissandra is canonically great against both these champions. Just very good into Ahri, and then also very good into Ashe, who's fairly immobile. Just a very strong pick in general. So this is fine. This is probably the second best option, but it's the one that you read first, right? So this guy arrives before this one does. So if you hit your arrival, and especially on 1st and 10, you're willing to take 6 yards, 7 yards on first down. That's totally fine. All right, here we go. Another zone defense. All right, you see this guy coming over. He's not following 85. So in zone, these crossers aren't really going to do that much. They might end up kind of like sitting down in front of these, but you're going to notice all these defenders being a yard behind. There should be a gap right here. All right, so one of these routes, this is probably going to be paired with like a wheel out. Usually it's gone with a post in, so this post should be available. All right, so this is that post guy that ended up drifting across the field. He was probably open. I wasn't able to see the whole thing. I would like to get the coach's film to see all that. But if it's not there, or if the safety's biting because they think that they've got extra coverage on that wheel route, then you can come over and keep on going. He did feel a little bit of inside pressure, so let's go back to the beginning. Right, so this is a concept where you get post and wheel, right? So this combination is meant to go and attack this extra safety. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got single high safety. Actually, this should be open if you trust your guy, and I think this is Jahan Dotson. And if that's true, you want this jump ball all day long. Although on 4th and 3, you don't necessarily need to do that, especially since you're so close to field goal range, just getting a first down. But you're going to see it. This guy's going to slide over to these combo receivers, and he's going to take this guy out. Now he brings him across the field. That's totally fine. This ends up being the completion. And then this should be open though, because look how these guys are playing. Especially if it's zoned, they're going to drop off. This guy's going to trail here. Maybe if this kind of morphs into a cover 3 or sort of like deep cover 2 where you get that cornerback is kind of sprinting back already and there's not enough space, then sometimes. But if his eyes are forward, which a lot of these like deep safeties are, then you can just throw it over his head because your sprinting guy has an advantage. Totally don't mind this decision though. Probably could have had the first one, so that was a turn down. Corner's a little bit... Was it accurate? So picking up where he left off with, I think he had 8 catches in his last game. So this ball, this guy's clearly coming out and coming back to the ball. So he's expecting it here. Maybe Howell's like, yeah, there's a pocket here where I can give this guy end zone if he keeps on turning upfield. But either way, that ball, you definitely would want it like out in this spot towards the 6-yard line and closer to the sideline so that he can catch it in stride and just roll up easily. But it's not bad. Like the decisions are great. All right, we have Shyvana, who is almost definitely power farming. So versus power farmers, we can try to set up Misfortune Braum for a win here.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. 30 seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned.
This is not necessary. There's not going to be a jungle gank here. Allowing you to start moving around, set up her tentacles. Don't AFK, lady. awful. Guys, AWOL, right? So you check out mentally. You're not thinking about what's going to come. This is an all-in Doran's Blade versus a Corrupting Potion. This guy's obviously going to kick your butt. Weaving in autos now since we're on our last stretch of mana. And we're happy to do this. 315, no leash. We're good. We're covering the push all the way. We can even get rebounded on camps here. Looks like there's nothing that we need to go for. We'll just sit on this camp. Didn't need to pop that necessarily. This guy's got 28 as well. Going with our potion here. Why? Oh why, oh why. I'm gonna have to help these guys cover this. Can I just get a regank off of this? Yeah, there's the heal down. Okay. Yep. That's some damage. Alright, so they can hold this freeze now. If they opt for it. Wants to push? Okay. That's me not paying attention. Entirely on me. Alright, so a really weird stutter to our start. Getting a little bit frustrated with what's going on in top lane. This guy needs to pick up on this, and we have a 6 versus 5. This is checkmated. This guy just needs to lose gracefully now. Probably means that my raptors are gone as well. 48. Now it's going to be a boss side scuttle respawn. This one's still not showing because I just didn't clear it. I'll just work my way down there. Kill this guy.
Enemy killing spree. An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain.
If we can hit 6, we get a kill here. Stefan, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. We get this kill. I told you. What I was doing is counting down the amount of times while she's still showing, as far as like when she'd be able to get her back off her recall. Ooh, too early. Now this means I should be able to get his blue, her blue. This guy's just asking to die right now. I'm not helping them. No, that's really bad. Could have smitten it. Alright, I'm getting out far. Oh, we got the kill. Oh my goodness. And it wasn't even close either. Alright, that's enough. That's a huge shutdown. That is such a big deal for us. Might get Misfortune get that for herself. Easy. Good stuff. Oh, she died anyways? Okay. You win this, Ari. You're level 9. That's okay. Thank you. Hold breaker first from the Olaf. Okay. Going for the push doesn't work nearly as good against Alaois of the world as it does against the mages. Maybe we can catch him being overly aggressive.
An ally has been slain. Turret plating will fall soon.
So I was trying to stay and get the outplay. We're not going to let that happen.
Killing spree.
Hey, we might mess around a little bit.
An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Luckily that dragon distracted them. Could have gone way more than that. Hmm. 279. All right, so I get my two camps here, and then use futures market. The other option is to use my R to just farm some gold up. I'm gonna do that. Told you. That gives them a little bit of a chunk. They're a little bit more hesitant on this attack here. It gets me a blue buff. I'll be hitting 11. I'll have the blue buff up for the next ult. Not a fight we really want to get into like that, but I do have exhaust ready for Miss. I don't mind this death at all. It is worth inting sometimes. I don't know if we'll ever go Rylai's this game. We could.
Your turret has been destroyed. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Good trade. I'm huge. I'm well on my way to get to 11. It's too bad that we didn't get this, but either way, I'm still going to have 11 by the time the next ult comes up, which means I can start farming my first strike. The bait. They show. Oh, how do you miss that? Might kill him? Killed him. All right, we're going to respawn, cast our ultimate. We're going to do it with getting this, so we have the access to the next one faster. Oh, yep, we got this. Hold them just a little bit longer. There we go, perfect. That was enough. Should have been exactly enough, we'll see. It's going to be really close. The burn. Oh, they got it off. $13.46. Doing that. What up? How you doing, Sasha? All right, do we take this right now? Ash is up top. Yes, we take it right now. And we got a kill. Misfortune and Ash went to the top side. All right, someone's a little bit lost. What to do though? Could take this right now. She going? No way. Olaf is heading up there. What are you using Everfrost for there? All right, we have no vision here. We'd like to get it. I'm taking a risk going on this side of the map, especially with Alawi showing, but with the Rift Herald, maybe we can get some action here. I'm very close to this. I'm just gonna do this right now. We have part of a fight going. Alawi's being covered. Beautiful. And we got the Shyvana. Beautiful. All right, we take this. Take mid turret on the way. They're going for this? Okay. This is the more gold approach. It's definitely not the fastest way to end the game or win the game, but it does get us an extra 1,000 golden experience that we can use. But now we have to shop and leverage this shop momentum into whatever it is we're going to do. Can't really stay for this blue buff, even though I'd like to. All right, we're huge. We're huge. We get one more ultimate off pre-16. Yeah, what's up, Sasha? We got one more off pre-16, and then we're going to have the next one after that's going to be a level 16 ultimate, so we should be just gravy. Ooh, that almost hit. Get some deep wards, thank you. I may just go for ult right here into this. They're gonna recoil off of this ultimate. Now we should just be able to do this. Beautiful, and we just kill a Nash. Like 3 years, on and off. This is the first year that we've done it as like as a thing. Malawi pulling it back together, finding out the way. Iceborne and Hullbreaker, just unstoppable force here. Well, that's a big knock-up. Now we have a Baron buff, and we have Hullbreaker here. So good. And they're just going to kill the Olaf here. Oh, Olaf got a little bit distracted. Come on, pepper him over the wall.
Your team has destroyed an inhibitor. Shut down.
This guy just screwed. This guy's screwed. So that means Dragon's theirs.
An ally has been slain.
This is the first year that I've been like more regular. So hard to CS against Olaf. They're not going for this? Okay. Do I like int here? No, we're just gonna do this right now. Lead it off. Got you. Easy. Oh, am I set for TFT? No, I play TFT less often. League of Legends is the game that I coach professionally. I do tennis, soccer, League of Legends, and then every game has its ins and outs, right? We're all about tactics. We're all about high performance, how to get the most out of your athletes in whatever aspect they do, and then League of Legends is the game that we know, inside and out as far as esports are concerned. But TFT kind of makes sense, combination of chess, and the characters are there. But all the mechanics haven't bothered to go. So we've only gotten to diamond and platinum pretty consistently, I think. Uh-oh. This has to be a damage peel. Can't be anything but damage peel. Ari is just running away. Not putting any damage into that guy. That's a mistake. I don't think he's gonna be able to get out. Oop, we walked into that. That was a bad play by us. Also, apparently could have gotten level 16 up. If I had gotten 16, if I cast that, so any spell that you cast that has a channel time, you can cast it, and then while it's in the air, you can level up. That makes it reduced costs as far as like cooldowns and mana costs for a lot of different abilities. And then you can get the better effect. Do I know about SPME graphical stuff? Nope, not at all.
Your team has destroyed a turret. Your team has destroyed an inhibitor.
Just damage. It's just gotta be damage. Step forward. Don't go into the daggers. Step forward. That's how you beat Katarina. This is a mistake. It's not so bad against like an Olaf of the world, but there's not like full scale healing over there. You just want a better shielding item. Something like Frozen Heart's much better in general. Or Randuin's. Oh, cool. Brom. That's true. Brom was kind of hovering over that hull breaker. I'm all set on art if that's what you're looking for, but happy to hear about it. I always like learning new stuff. All right, game 3, the rubber match. No, I'm all set, thank you. All right, here we go. Key first guy. Looks like they're dropping into zone. This guy's backpedaling, right? So he's picking up an area, he's not just following. Unless he's on spy, then you can follow this guy, see like whether or not he trails. So if it's going to be zone right here, we should get a pocket here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we'll probably only have one high over the top. So we may actually go back into like cover 3. And if it's cover 3, we tend to have like these pockets. Yep, makes sense. These guys dropping into those pockets. All of these options would be good. It looks like he's got a right to left read. Totally fine with this. Especially on first down, right? We're talking about that. 8 yards, first down, totally every single time. All right, similar look. These guys dropping into zone. Looks like we're going to have deeper stems here, so these guys are going to get behind. It's also 3rd and 15. So these defenders should probably be further back, and they should be scaling back this defense based on what's here, right? So they need to get to the 45-yard line. These safeties are looking to poach and intercept something that's over this pocket. Again, we've got 4 and 5, so we've got 2 high safeties. So what you're going to try to do is get one of these routes to bring through the middle, one to the outside, one to the 3 prongs, the tridents. All right, based on where they're running out, you may end up having to check down. That's pretty insane to get this guy on the 3rd option. Maybe we'll play a Jarvan game this game. Lethal Tempo, is that the new tech? Can't be better than this.
First down. Cole Turner again. Travis Kelce there in Kansas City, but what a great job by Hal.
Okay, moving left to right, gets the comeback. So this guy basically ran out, made a second move, and then ended up coming back to the ball on this 3rd and 15. That was a fantastic ball placement. So look at this read. Each time I like his footwork is lining up with his reads, right? It's like every time he goes in, he's ready with his feet. Then he's coming here. Now watch this throw. This ball has to be on the left hip. Right, that guy has outside leverage. So you want to put this right in that little pocket so you can just catch it and fall. All right, let's see. Fiddle is a kind of good against Jarvan. And we're heavy on AD. Now, Jarvan kind of solves that because he has so much armor break anyways, and we can go something like Gore Drink or Black Cleaver, Spear of Shojin. Do Jarvan. Spin a little bit.
To his left, you see him get
Perfect spot, right?
through the progression like how it takes a little bit of time before you really.
All right, so we've got crossers, but again, it looks like it's against zone. So this guy, as long as, depending on how deep this zone has to go to cover these in routes, you might have this on the far side. Boom. But look at that. That's actually perfect. Zone. This guy shifts over to cover the guy coming across the flat. This guy sits down, edges over. You lean, right? You lean left or you lean right based on what this guy does. Great throw. Now, it is worth saying that these are starters versus backups in this game, but Ravens, like we talked about, have the best like depth culture in the game.
For another first down. Cole Turner has really impressed some people.
All right, so these guys immediately move over into zone spots. So again, we're going to look. It's short coverage, so you might end up getting like a dump off into the flat. We had an extra back here into protection, so he's going to go out. It gets shadowed here. Let's see if we step up. It's zone, so it's a lot harder to run for, but you can if they're deeping pack. If this guy evacuates, then there's going to be a running lane for a first down. Yep, so exactly that.
His ability to escape the pocket.
All right, zone again. We're going to have this guy in the flat. Now, depending on this route combination, I can't see the tree. I'd like to see like everything that's being done in the overhead. But see how these guys are moving up, right? So these guys are now assigning. They're grabbing marks. Means that we should have a pocket somewhere. In front of the deep safety is so good. Dude, this guy looks really good. It's clinical. The guy's name is Akshan Support. Can't go.
30 seconds until minions.
Oh, suicide. Don't care if it's a good play. Like, once 3 people are not there in time. You bored? Normally you want a prize, right? You want something. You want to earn something for your trip. Now we have to be very careful about this side. They may have come over and invaded. Hackrum's going to go for full clear. We'd like to get information about where he's starting. Let's get him a little bit nervous by dropping Sweeper in here. Okay, so he didn't protect his own buff. He could be on. He could easily be on Raptors right now. If he is, I want to go in and poach that thing. Oh, there we go. We get the vision. Perfect. Fiddlesticks top. Should be an easy gang target. GG. Game's done. Give it to the guys who can carry. Now we're going to help this guy reset by shoving this out. And we're good. We're in a really good spot here, folks.
An ally has been slain.
Now he's got 2, so he probably just got his reset camps. He probably didn't do this. He probably went here. Yeah. So now we're looking at respawns on Gromp and Wolves, 2.5 minutes. We probably got those at like 4. We're looking at 6:30 for that respawn timer. No, he took my camps. Okay, that's another alternative. There we go. Those are the 2. So he's actually going back into his jungle.
Killing spree.
I think we have Prio down here, so this should be a freebie.
An ally has been slain.
This could have become very bad for me. But we can virtually guarantee that Hecarim was on the other side of the map anyways. Oh my goodness, you can't do that against this camp. Alright, so Hecarim did limp back to his side of the map. Thresh just warded behind me. We can get blue on respawn. 37, yep, so that follows. He took his camps, went straight to top. We'll be able to take this blue buff.
Rampage. Double kill.
Beautiful. Hecarim's itty bitty. Wait for the cannon to take aggro. Wish she had just come straight through. She picked it up eventually, though. We'll be all right. And they got the shutdown here. All right, so maybe a little bit of a force, but Caitlyn gets huge because of it. She'll get a really good back off as well. Now, what do I want? Herald? Yeah, I think Herald's a great play. Fine with me, actually, if he wants to take that. Neat. You can come right back now. Love it. Great play. Help this guy to get his plates if he wants it. That's nonsense. Okay, though, we get the kills. But a beautiful, shameless G4 abuser. It's true. Hey, I was calling for J4 being the #1 pick way before anybody else, though. So, you know, I literally waited until after they nerfed him to pick him up. Because you know how I am. Oops, we went too far. I'm going to hover this push just because we've got 1 minute left on the timers. Nice play, Darius. I actually let Akshan get that kill so he could revive the Darius. This is what level we're on, baby. This guy's got his Akshan mechanics down. Yeah, you're not wrong. Wait, they changed? Wait. Shit. Okay. Fine. This is where you're supposed to be, Kate. There's just as much farm right there. Alright, that works. Darius is in a 1v2. That's exactly what we want. This is pushing out. That's what we want here. Do we contest? Alright, yeah, we're going to go here. We're going to all in this. Darius should start this fight. I've been spotted, so maybe Thrushback's away here. They're backing away. Uh-oh. JK. Get him. Akshan might get... Oh my goodness. He's hunting. Well. Shameless. I know. Shameless. Whee! Troll picks welcome. You know? There's always a reason. Ugh. Yep. I told a fucker that he was a fucker, you know? I stand up for that. Protect my teammates. We almost have enough time for everything else now. Jarvan! Didn't even get to play my spear. Alright, so we understand that fighter satisfaction is at an all-time low. So here's 500 HP Shojin, 400... Yeah, I mean... Yeah. They all do work for him. Not to mention that the Umbral Glaive is fantastic on him as well. Gio, what's up, man? Long time no see. How you doing? So understand ADC satisfaction. Well, I mean, that happened... And then it was too good, and we had 18 months of AD carries being too good. So what's next? Tanks had their day in the sun because all the fighters got nerfed. The fighters are more exciting for Worlds. The problem is, like, satisfaction will be there if the game's balanced. And the thing is, they don't want balance. They have balance, and then they change the game. And so they're trying to drive ticket sales, they're trying to drive viewership, and they're trying to drive skins. McFoo, thank you for the 2 early games. Yeah, it makes sense. No problem. It's kind of like what the script did, right? It's just Fiddlesticks can't really stand up to a gank, not ever. And then also the fact that they didn't ward for themselves on the red side of the map, which means that I got a free level 3 gank. And then Fiddlesticks failing the flash was the big thing. And then after that happens, you have to play super, super passively, and the guy wasn't doing that. Not that Fiddlesticks can really do it. And it kind of shows off how weak the pick is once you start falling behind. 2,500 HP chem tank, 1900. yeah, you know. But the thing is, it's always going to do that. It's going to be this ebb and flow. They just want it to change, and very specifically, Freak cited the numbers. They said they specifically want 70% engaged support meta. They want active junglers. They want to avoid carry junglers that are just kind of like passing by ships in the night, but engaged supports tend to create that. So they know the targets that they're going for, and so they have to juggle this thing of like, let's make it look kind of balanced, which, by the way, this year has never been balanced. Period. Just hasn't. Ever since preseason threw it so far out of whack, and they just haven't been able to get it back. And largely it's because they went, you know, and I still maintain that Freak was like, people still don't know how good Static Shiv is. Let me just push it up a little bit. Like, see if it's good now. See if they see how it's good now. And then they had to walk it back, change it, walk it back, nerf it. And only now is Static Shiv like in an okay spot. So that's kind of the situation it's in. And you had him playing that little game, which now created this entire like ebb and flow of people trying to catch up. Freak did the AD tank push mid-season to test if it was fun and would be good for exciting gameplay with lead time before Worlds. Oh, I didn't hear about that part. That's good intel. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Tank plus AD carry is kind of what last year was good, and it's fun to an extent because AD carries get pentakills, and pentakills are good for viewership, and it's good for a good game. But the problem with a tank AD carry meta is that you end up with 28 minutes of a 2-2 score, and no one's really trying to do anything. Not that they couldn't. There's a whole bunch of the game that's not being explored as far as tanks roaming bottom, especially when they're 6 or 7 and bot lane is still 5. Someone like Ornn can just go to bottom, or Volibear, or Kled, or whoever it is can just go on to bot lane, make the play, Kennen, make the play, and then teleport top. And there's very little counterplay to that, especially if you do it with a good timing, like 7.5 minutes, which is pre-6s. You can even make that play where you just stay in the bot lane, hold it, then you rotate your bot laners out. They can go Herald. You can still have 4 people at Herald. Tank holds down the fort in bottom. AD carry picks up the Herald. You drop it top. You give them 4 plates. You come back, swap it back. There's a lot of things that have not been explored to the full extent on that. Marksmen are supposed to be sweepers, not necessarily carries. Yeah, they don't 100 to 0, but I mean, 4 item carries, they tend to 100 to 0, especially in pro when they're not missing CS, right? So 28 minutes into the game, they might have 310 CS, right? And that's enough for them to be on 4 items if they get any amount of kills. And definitely they're going to hit that 3 item threshold before you'd see it in these normal games, and they're better at using it, right? Like, for example, last game Callista got super far ahead, but she constantly jumped back and then put herself out of range. So she wasn't actually carrying the way that a pro carry would. Callista, by the way, has been bumped a couple times since pro patches. I think all the leagues played their playoffs on 13-13 and 13-14, and then Worlds is going to be on 13-18, which is coming out next week. So they're going to have that patch come out, or maybe it's the week after. They're going to have that patch come out. They're going to have 2 weeks to like clean it up, make sure that it's bug proof, and it's supposedly going to be the one that pushes out, and they're going to try to deal with outliers. Jarvan's an exciting champion, though. You know, hopefully people aren't just like, oh, this champion's busted. It's still very strong for sure. There's a lot of things that are strong. The items that have been pushed, I'm still excited to see Kled as a counter pick. I really want to see those kind of avenues. J4 is good. Yeah, it's exciting. And J4, Lee Sin, these types, the people who can make plays level 3 or even 2 are exciting because it completely changes the warding spectrum, right? The map that you need to play on as far as what to do. And so it makes a lot of the improvisations very impactful. Oh my God, yeah. I do not want Graves. What I do not want is a Graves Kindred meta. I do not want the carry out of the jungle because it also takes the agency out. And jungles being playmakers, you want them to be playmakers. You want these guys to be on playmaking champions that can control the map and affect different lanes. And when they can do that, there becomes more and more fights in those lanes. So even if it's Sejuani, I don't mind that. If it's Sejuani Maokai, kind of tankish, especially Sejuani full tank, but Maokai, 40% tank with a demonic embrace and maybe an even shroud build from there. Like, that's tanky enough, and those guys do make plays. They make stuff happen. Sejuani Maokai is volatile, right? And then you get melee versus melee because you have Sejuani, so you end up with Akali Sylas, which we're guaranteed to have a lot of. Akali is going to be strong enough. You can have Akali Sejuani together, and you're going to start seeing Static Shiv Akali. Now, as Akali's being pushed up, Static Shiv has been pushed down, so I don't think we necessarily get that full blend, but we might. We might. 3 camping can be ignored in pro metas. When the players are highly coordinated, it's really fun watching how they respond. Yeah, right. In solo queue, you don't necessarily get that. It tends to just be one-sided because the junglers are like, this is my path. And largely, ever since the changes this year where they showed people your path, and you have your blitzes, and it's like this camp to this camp to this camp to this camp, they just follow that, and they don't react to the undulations of the game. So anyways, we had a nice strong best of 3 here. Good performances. Happy with all these. This one could have been a little bit cleaner, but we got super farmed, got really far ahead. The Rakan game, honestly, we could have won as well. Could have been there, but a little bit of a climb. Keep on checking out Same Howl. We'll keep on talking about Worlds meta and stuff like that too. This guy looks good. All right, so we have goal line. We look at the break. Here we go. We've got whip route, but this guy's got good leverage for the outside. This is still going to peel the defender, so you may end up finding a work here. This is all man defense. Against man defense, the fact that 53 is floating here means that we're probably kind of a free run right here. This looks like the easy play. The important thing is to make sure to get it in front of his numbers, right? Don't make him turn to the outside to catch this because he loses all of his momentum. You want to throw this ball like right here so you can catch it in stride with momentum going to the end zone. None of the other routes look very good. And this looks like these are the fast acting ones, right? You have a whip route into a skinny post. So you're going to see 1, 2, 3 generally. But if all of these defenders come hover over here, then we're going to have this on the side. Okay, so opted not. This looked like it would have been a touchdown. Now you're going to have breaking routes and you can have runs. So these guys, you had 2 deep zone. We have man across the board and then the 2 deep safeties spying. Means you're never going to score a touchdown here unless these guys break. But you might be able to come up, have these guys approach, and then pull a pocket behind them, or just wait for this one-on-one to win while these guys are watching you, right? So right here, for example, see this? This is exactly what I was talking about. These guys come up, the hole's right here, this guy's wide open. So that's something that you can tell them in tape. You can't wait to see it because it happens bang bang, but that's just like a predictive thing that is going to happen every time. And so you can just go and just literally toss anything over there, and that's an end zone. Atrox changes, I suspect, will make him situational. Yeah, he's weaker than he was. Pros are better than him than anyone else, but I don't think he has enough punch, which I'm thankful for. I don't need another Worlds meta where it's 90% Atrox. I expect Renekton Jax Cassante to be the big threat. Renekton at the moment seems like the big one because the items have been good for him as well. Or Drinker, Sterix Gauge, these things have been buffed. Black Cleaver is really good. Jax has been hit enough times, but he should be okay, and especially into this Renekton matchup, now that people have seen that you can go Grasp as the Jax, and you can actually kind of bully the matchup a little bit. Cassante, I think, is going to fall out of favor. I think he's weak enough that even though he has an exceptional lane phase, if they pick him, it tends to be the just like plug and play, like he's fine here, but if you do that, you're looking at like Ari Aphelios, and I don't know if that's giving you enough. Maybe if you have someone like Ruler that can absolutely hard carry with Aphelios, then it should be good. Shojin does really help Jax, although most of the Jaxes have been starting to go more of the AP builds. It's just it just works out totally fine. Shojin's totally fine. You can also go second item Shojin on Jax and then go into like Zonias from there. Fiora Camille, yeah, see, that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see Fiora Camille, and especially against Aatrox. Like, both those champions are very good into Gnar Aatrox and can both jump in. Aurelia into ranged, yep, 100%. Yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good to get those carries up on the top lane, because that's kind of exciting when you get those solo kills up there. All right, here we go. Shifting off into zone. These guys dropping off. So you've got trips over here. There's always going to be an opening here. These three are going to write a combo route. It looks like this out's just going to be available. Now, this often is paired with a flag, right? So this out gets paired with a deeper flag route, and then you read this guy. You say if he sits, you throw it over his top. If he fades, then you go to this short one. Here you go. See, he faded back, so they go for the short one. The fact that all right, so apart from that wheel route that could have been gone, and the fact that on the step up, which is really tough because all bets are off once you're breaking the pocket, apart from those two, this guy has literally picked the correct pass on every single play. That's insane, right? It's preseason, but that, like, preseason defense, pretty stagnant, not many like weird looks. This has been surgical. Okay, so he knows he has it. All right, super mature choice here. It's 1st and 10. He knows that this guy's wide open. He doesn't need to take it. So he looks again downfield. Now, we can't see anything, so we can't make any reads on it. But it looks like we have some kind of deep zone. That means this is just available. That is so good. Look at this. Boom. I know it's open. Look at him. Watch 14 right here. All right, yep. I'm looking. It's there. I see you. You're so wide open that I can look again and then come back. That is poise, maturity, and mastery. Dude, I'm starting to get a little bit hyped. Holy shit. All right, here we go. We got another zone. We've got drops in the zone. This guy coming over, if you're reading on this side, which on this side it looks like he's going 1-2 as a combination. If this guy drags, then he's going to have this in the open. Again, you need to hit him in front of his body so his momentum can carry him upfield. It looks like we have shallow curls on one side paired with it. I anticipate that this one's coming here unless this guy fades off and then this guy will just drop, right? And you'll read this defender and see if he leans this way or that way as far as which curl to go. But if this guy's going all the way, then this opening's right there. Again, so good. All right, this is a designed play. This is an RPO, right? These guys are already in running formation, so you could just give it to this guy. But if you read that this pressure's coming on this side, you just drop it off. These guys are ready to pick pockets and go. So could just be diagnosed, but also could be his decision about whether or not to kill the run and go pass. But a fantastic play for first down. All right, we have the breaks. Looks like they're dropping off man. No, all right, so we're dropping into zone. We might have man on one side, or it might be bump into like a shallow 4, like a cover 2, Tampa 2. If this is going to happen, if there's zones, you don't really want these crosses, but on the deep side, they can fit into pockets. And sort of like the defenders here, you're passing behind them. This is window 1, this is window 2. You can see window 2 openings. It looks like he's looking here, so a read is going to be like left, right. You might be able to catch these guys. If you see them all over covering, you might get this guy open in the flat. But most likely you're going to be looking at this guy breaking into like window 2, or depending on what this route tree looks like up top. All right, so he ends up going down. So this is a little bit of a broken play. Finds good pocket movement. Finds the pocket in the zone again. I mean, these receivers need to know it as well.
He gets his hand on the ball.
That's his, what was that, second or third time that it got tipped? All right, so we see zones again. We're going to see the breaks in the routes. We got double. Is that triple team up there? Or is this just like bad footage? Could just be like the same guy. Looks like it's just one, right?
Gets his hand on the ball.
One. Okay. This guy's fading. He's going to be covering this side. All right, so you might have a combination where these two can break apart. And if it's timing based, then you can have an option route from this receiver and give him something. It's 3rd and 8, though, so you really want to get down here. You're already looking at a potential score, so no risks. If you don't have it, you don't have it. You can just take one of those like sit down sacks and you still kick a field goal here. So it's going to be whether or not you see it. And if you're looking for someone with forward momentum at about the 5-yard line, or someone that's hopping behind the defense. This option route's definitely available. Yep, there it is. Dude. This guy ended up getting flagged for this. I think it's bullshit because they were fighting for the line and he took off. This is fantastic quarterbacking. Like, legit, this is exactly everything you want. And it's not like he's lofting balls in there like he's got no strength. He's got good pocket awareness. He's making good decisions. He's throwing the ball well. He's throwing it accurately. You can kind of combine those last two, but they're slightly different. Accurately, like well deciding where in the rainbow of the catch radius you can throw it, and then actually getting the ball there with the right touch velocity combinations. This is fantastic. I'm getting pretty close to just picking up Sam Howell in fantasy and starting in week 1. Who are they playing? I gotta find out. Like, my goodness. I wanted Jahan Dotson. Oh, they're playing Arizona and they're playing at home. Oh my goodness. But we could have an easy shootout here. I think I can still start Goff. And I have 2 quarterbacks here. I don't need to go for Howell. But like if I'm going for another like best ball league, In best ball, and this might be the best day to do it. In best ball, I think the strategy is to grab, like, skip quarterback completely and get Goff and Howell. Although, what's his bye week? I should look that up. His bye week is 14 late in the season. They love to get this. This actually can coincide with some playoff weeks sometimes, depending on how your structure goes. If you have 14, 15, 16, 17. Most people don't do 4 weeks though, but this is a divisional game. People are actually picking him up. 22% rostered is actually fairly high. A lot of this hype is coming out. If we're doing a best ball draft, you know what? Let's do it. Yahoo Fantasy Football. Let's pick another best ball. Free. Should we do it? Oh, we've got a $1 league. We've got $1 in prizes. This was from just our team randomly placing in the top like 10,000 teams across all platforms. I may not be able to do this whole draft. So we're going to fade quarterback completely and tight end completely. We're going to grab both Patriots tight ends and Taysom Hill. Unfortunately, they share a week 11 bye. So we may have to just like forfeit 1 week of scoring, but it might be worth it for all of them. Could also just go with both the New England tight ends, and just one of them's probably going to have a good combination all day. Yahoo Best Ball is not available? Really? Really? Is that because FanDuel has like locked everyone out? I know there's sports betting. I'm allowed to do it for sure. All right, what that may mean that we might be able to do like a daily roster. Oh, it starts tonight. This is the big one, right? All right, so let's assume that Howell is someone we can get cheap. $22. That's on the super cheap side. If Goff, yeah, not even a Sunday player, so we can't do it. Sam Howell. Now that means he's definitely going to his receivers. That means we get Jahan Dotson at 12. That's fantastic. Maybe we even go with McLaurin here. 19. All right, I see a theme coming up here. Might have to like pick between these two guys, but this should give me all the firepower I want to play the other positions. We should be able to go Justin Jefferson here, home game in the dome. Tariq Hill. Now Justin Fields is like the best value, I think. Otherwise, if you're going for stars here. Oh, New Orleans run defense was not particularly great. We want to get a little bit better than 2-1. Jacobs versus Denver. That Denver at home might be a little bit tougher. Cooper Kupp is out. Bijan Robinson is basically, I want as much of him as I can get. Do I want Eckler against Miami? This is a Vic Fangio defense now. Last year they got into trouble because they were blitzing way too much and giving up huge gaps. Where else are we going to spend? That's the question. Can we get 2-1 anywhere else, or somewhere at Dallas Goddard? I think we have really good safeties for covering. I don't think that he necessarily gets it all. Taysom Hill is always a great bet just because he has that chance of playing some quarterback plays. Hayden Hurst, I think, is a fantastic value. I go Logan Thomas and just like full load up. I don't think I can afford to do that. Logan Thomas was much weaker last year. What's this guy's prognosis? Calf injury. He's completed his recovery from calf strain. Yeah, we'll be all right. Pat Fryermuth, I think, could easily have a game here. If we do this, then we're like stacking on the ability to get all the other positions. I don't like against Houston. I think Houston took a big step up this year. Philly versus New England, if they rip apart our line, maybe. I think Washington versus Arizona. Like, how do you avoid this game? So now we have 52 left to go for these two. One of them's going to be running back. Feels so good. Nick Chubb going to be featured. I think we might as well just go here and then check what we've got left for flex. Chris Olave? Wow. Andre Stevenson I like here. Aaron Jones I love here. That Chicago defense kind of sus. Jordan Love might lean on him a little bit more. Jalen Waddle's available here. Wow. We're getting way better than 2-1 on these positions. I could skip out on either of these, but look at this point per game versus salary, right? Like, these ratios are insane. Nick Chubb's a little bit light. Bijan's can outperform. Look at this one. Where, like, the ratio is so high. Maybe JJ needs to go? I don't think so, though. Devontae Adams is a guy. Devontae Adams, okay, averaging 17 points on 25. For some reason, they think he's not going to be good. All right, so Terry McLaurin, let's look at his actual injury. So he has like turf toe or a sprained toe. Currently dealing with turf toe that he suffered in the team's final preseason, but it was enough to make him limp off. So it wasn't like the type that Julio Jones used to get, where it just kind of hurt him to make the cuts. I think it was worse than that. So let's get rid of Terry McLaurin and assume that Jahan Dotson's going to get all the action. That leaves us room for Devontae Adams. Now we can't quite afford Waddle, but we can come down here. What do we have left? 15 budget. Should be able to find some insane value here. Pickens is going high. Oh, Ridley. Oh my gosh. How do we not play Ridley? We got to play Ridley. All right, let's go with Ridley. $35 left. We could go Jamar Chase. I mean, home run hitter. It's not JJ. We could go more like value on the defense instead of going 18 points here. Even though I think they're going to be fantastic. In this format, it's all about touchdowns. Who's going to score touchdowns? So, like, Patriots are good. I don't know if they're going to score touchdowns. Atlanta Falcons. Oh, where are the Seahawks? Where are the Seahawks? Seahawks. Boom. We got our 3 points back on Seahawks. Playing the Rams. That's a fantastic matchup, and that gives us enough money now for JJ. Oh, my goodness. All right. Here's our first place roster. Don't copy it, because then neither of us gets paid. Find some change. Some guy that you're a less on, but this is I'm hoping for the money here, the big ones. I mean, look at this. We've got wide out one, RB1. We have 3 like studs at wide receiver, 2 studs at running back. Jahan Dotson, who is a stud, just didn't have good quarterback play. We've got the Legion of Boom against a scrambling offense with no Cooper Kupp. We've got Pat Fryermuth, just steady Eddie here on the offense. Let's see, can we improve this? I don't think so. He's all the way down here at 12. I think this is going to be the best we can get. We don't need to go for someone like Hayden Hurst, Greg Dulcich. No thanks. We're good. This lineup's so insane. How are we allowed to get this lineup? The one caveat is whether or not Sam Howell can hack it. He's played one game and he made 19 fantasy points in that one game. I think he can do better, especially playing against Arizona. This lineup's insane. All right, I'm gonna have to delete this video because I can't. You know what? I'll leave it up because after it's done, after we win the 30,000. I mean, we're not winning 30,000. What is it? 3,000 maybe to first place. Once we win, we take it home. Then we'll be able to go over everything. Management fee 12%. This is actually really high. Normally it's like 5%, where you just lose 5%. Everybody loses 5% in the game. Everyone losing 12% is pretty bad. But hey, we'll let it ride. We'll put our dollar here and see how we go. So check back in on Monday and we'll check it out. All right, pressing submit. Boom, submit. I agree to the terms. Oh my gosh. Ugh, okay. We'll see. It's not going to allow me. All right, that's ridiculous. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to message my father-in-law so he can bet it from from Massachusetts. Shit. All right, I may not get it in. If you guys want to, go ahead, copy it. That's going to be it for me. I'll catch you guys next time. We've got a Fast Friday. We're going to be going over game reviews, 5-minute segments at a time. Make sure to bring your game reviews in, and we'll check them out. All right, catch you next time. Peace.